episode 3. You having fun, Jonathan, with this so far? You enjoying what we're doing?
Um, Oh, for sure. It's funny because we started off like, hey, let's just do it for fun. And like literally after the first one, I was like, that was a lot of fun. The second one, I was like, that was a lot more fun. And so I feel like it's just gonna get better and better.
Yeah, I know. If we get to turn this into something, it'd be cool, but I don't care. I just like talking with you and talking
Yeah,
about dirt bikes.
that's what we talked about. We were like, a lot of people do this kind of stuff like to be fame and how many like subscribers and all of that. But like for us, I don't feel like we really care because like we enjoy it. Like
Yeah.
Ethan and I talk about it all the time, but we used to call each other every single like race after the race. We would talk for like literally, I mean, it'd be like an hour, 2 hours. And we're like, why aren't we talking about this while recording it? Some others might like our ideas or hate them, and they can let us know if they want. But I seriously, I'm having a ball, like a lot more than I thought I would.
Yeah. So, to start off this episode, let's just go right into the. Actually, no, we'll go backwards. I think we did 450 first last time. Let's start with 250 here. So, what's your take? To Mutter, San Francisco. In my opinion, it's one of the armpits of this country. So of course it gets crappy weather along with it. It was a mutter. What are your thoughts? First initials coming from the 250 class.
It was definitely a mutter. I heard, I guess that week, I heard the rain was coming, but like there's always like rain in the forecast and stuff. So like you're not sure. But I like watching mutters because I like riding in the mud. Um, However, I feel like it's nice to have one or two mutters, maybe three a year. But if like you saw that every single time, it probably would get old. What I love about the mutters is like anyone can win and anyone can lose it too.
Yeah.
So when I first turned it on and saw like how crazy the mud was, I knew it was going to be wild, and I was excited about it. What do you think?
Oh yeah, I was excited because especially it being round two. Like if I had to pick when I wanted a mutter to be, I wouldn't want it to be A1, and I wouldn't want it to be the final round. Those are the two I wouldn't want it to happen. Middle of the season, I feel like you're going to get a bunch of people already settled into their positions in the championship. But I felt like this was the perfect time to have it because Jet's already on that high swing. I felt like if anyone was going to take him down, well, I'm talking about the 450 at this point, but just in general, like even for the 250 class, like I didn't want RJ Hampshire to just start running away with it. Like this throws a curveball early to where people now we're going into third round. Okay, I'm close to the points leader. So this is like it was the perfect opportunity, and I'm happy it was like round two versus like middle season, beginning or end of season. So was really pumped on that.
Honestly, Ethan, that's probably a really good point because you think about it. If it happened like 10 races in and Jet was up by a ton, it'd be like, okay, Jet got ninth, big whoop. Like he's still got a huge point.
Yeah,
But the fact that,
exactly.
and we'll
Yeah.
talk about this soon, it talks about like how we have a new points leader. And I love that it mixed it up into it. And we have to thank the mud for that because without the
Yeah.
mud, obviously some of these people that we'll talk about that got higher probably wouldn't have. But I do. And what I also liked about it is that it stayed raining the whole time. Because sometimes like it'll rain, like the first modes will be muddy, and then by the end, the other guys can still come up and do great because like the track changes. But like this, every single moto was the same, where it was just gnarly.
Yeah, no. I mean, the other thing that was crazy too is happening both 250 and 450 classes. The heat races
Uh,
and the main events just like are not lining up. The guy who's doing good in the heats are not showing up in the mains and vice versa. I love it.
yeah. Oh, I know. It was. That's what. Oh man, it was. It was very enjoyable.
So I'll start off. So we'll go with the rider, and then we'll go into the top three. Who was your biggest surprise for the 250 class in the mud?
All right. So biggest surprise. I'll go ahead and off and just so everybody can hear. Top 10 for 250s was Jordan Smith, Levi Kitchen, Garrett Marchbanks, Phil Nicoletti, Carson Mufford, Anthony Borden, Joshua Vreese, Hunter Yoder, RJ Hampshire, Mitch Oldenburg.
Now
Surprise wise, I'm gonna be
start off with
honest.
your good surprise.
Surprise.
Good surprise.
Okay, I got two. I'm gonna just be honest here. I had never heard of Anthony Burden. They were saying he's from France. So I actually didn't know about him. So the fact that he was up there, I think was he second or third? Like he
At
was
one point,
killing
yeah,
it,
he
and
was
I
up
was
there.
yeah. And on a Suzuki, I was bummed when he fell when he ran into who did he run into? Or who ran it? Either way, they wrecked together, and I literally yelled out, I was like, no, because it was
I
legit.
remember,
Um,
but was it like it may have been Phil, but I don't think he Feld though. I remember him
No,
bumping
it wasn't
somebody.
Phil.
I
It
don't
was
know,
someone
but
else.
go ahead, move on.
Um,
But
but yeah,
that happened.
he was a surprise. And then my other big surprise is Phil. Like everyone loves Phil Nicoletti.
Hmm.
Something about him. He's rough. He's rough around the edges. Clicks off all the pitchers, but everyone loves Phil. So the fact that he didn't start last weekend and then this weekend he comes out and almost gets on the podium, I
Oh,
loved it.
I wanted that
So
podium
my
so bad.
yeah. Oh, I know, me too. It's hard because like Garrett Marchbank's on the team, so like he was still a great podium, but I definitely wanted Phil, and I was bummed when he passed. But yeah, my answer will be Phil Nicoletti for the surprise.
Yeah.
What about you?
So, for my good surprise, obviously Phil was one of them. But since you talked about him, I'll move on to my other one. Carson Mumford. He's the guy who got fifth. Now, Phil Nicoletti, he's a fan favorite. I feel like if you're into the sport, a lot of people know who he is. Carson Mumford, on the other hand, I want to say he used to be pretty known, back when he was on the factory teams. But now he's just under the radar, and he kind of just squeaked in undetected with a top five. And I don't even think I could remember one time of him being on TV. But um, to get fifth in the mud definitely was a good positive surprise for me. So I was happy for
Yeah, and honestly, Ethan, I think that's great because I'm looking through all his results, and that is his best finish. He is
him.
definitely a 10 to 20 guy. He's gotten eighth to seventh. Last year he got a seventh at East Rutherford, so that was a great one for him. That was a East-West shootout.
Yeah,
Um,
under
but
the radar
yeah,
all the time.
fifth
So
place. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, so that was definitely a good pick. I would say you're definitely correct on that one.
moving on to the what was your disappointment of the race? Now, of course, it was a mutter, so it's going to be kind of hard to justify these disappointments. But who's the rider that you felt like didn't perform in the mud that he should have?
Okay, so I was definitely excited that Levi caught up. On the first lap, he was pretty far behind. I'm a Levi fan. I definitely wanted that to go his way, but he was able to fight back to get second. I would probably say RJ, but with Mud, what stinks
I think he
is
did
like
fall over too,
anybody.
so all it
Yeah,
take
he
is just a
did. Yeah.
little whoopsie,
So
which I think someone was in his way
yeah,
or fell in front of him.
he, yeah,
So
yeah,
what are you gonna
and
do?
that is what happened, and that's what happens. That's why, and we'll talk about this more because I want to bring this up with you with the 450s with mutters. I want to say 80% of what you need to win it is the whole shot because almost every heat race, whoever, right, Ethan, whoever got the whole shot
And the
won the
main,
race, I think,
and the main, I think. I
and the
think
mains,
Smith and
both of
Chase
them, whoever
basically
got the
got the
whole
whole
shots,
shot. Yeah.
yeah, they both got the whole shots and they both won because you're not dealing with people knocking into. Now you do have to deal with lappers, so that's rough. So I mean, that's still bad, but you're not dealing with your goggles like Kenny talked about. I'm sorry, I keep on going 450, but they talked about their goggles just getting smoked.
Hmm.
But yeah, I think with art. What about you? What are you thinking with yours?
Yeah. Well, so even Chase Sexton said in the post race press conference or whatever, he even said um he didn't have a challenge until the lappers came. He's like, I was comfortable, I was hitting my marks, but when the challenges when the lappers came, and I had to pick different lines, and that was the challenge. So obviously the whole shot helps out a lot until that point. So um, which made some good points there. My biggest disappointment. Um, I don't know. I really feel like I can't say too much. I mean, I guess I had one disappointment with D Francisco and Voland, but all of them were literally just bike issues. So you can't. It's just unfortunate for them to be in the situation. I think Voland's bike quit on him like lap two or three. That's racing. But I can't blame them for that. Hampshire down low. You touched it. Um, Points leader, guy expected to win the championship. Unfortunate things happen. So I really can't say anything bad. I really don't feel like there was any downside of this race because all the downside issues were complete accidents, complete flukes. I can't really say too much on it. So,
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I probably agree with that because you think about you can't be like, oh, Joe Shimoda blew it, his bike blew up.
oh yeah,
Like
Joe
you said,
too.
he's a DNF. He did fall, but either way, his bike ended up going out DNF. Ryder DeFrancisco, he gets the semi or not semi, the 8 win. So you're like, yeah, he's got it. And DNF fight goes out. So yeah, I mean, I agree. The people, Nate Thrasher, I forget what happened to him. Either way, I think he was struggling because
Yeah, I
he
forget
was in
too.
the LCQ. So he might be also someone that I'm concerned about because he wrecked in Anaheim and now he's struggling with that one. So he's definitely on my I'm nervous radar. Granted, we're only 2 races in, but he's
For West
definitely
Coast
on there.
though, it's
Ryder
like
D,
it's a few rate. It's I don't know what they get 10 rounds.
yeah.
It's a short season for them, so it's still early.
So
But I feel like the championship for Nate Thrasher's already out the window. Sorry.
do you have anyone on your nervous radar that they're not doing what you expected after 2 rounds? Kind of like an Nate Thrasher. Like I had Nate Thrasher winning on multiple races, and
Yeah,
now he's definitely on my panic mode.
I feel like it's Nate Thrasher. D. Francisco is a rookie, so I'm gonna say no. He's fine. Learning experience. DNF. Oh well. My worry right now is, I guess, Max Voland. Not because of his results in round one or result in round two. I just want to see how well his mind is going to bounce back. I'm hoping that, I think he's good enough of a rider to get top fives consistently. He needs to just believe that, put it in his head, and go into San Diego with a fresh head. And maybe Max can still compete for a top three in the championship. So,
Yeah, I agree. Real fast, and then I'll let it back to you. I do want to ask you. So we always talk about mutters, how it's like, okay, he won because it was a mutter, or he got that place because of a mutter. Who are your flukes for this race? Like for me, I don't think Phil's going to get another fourth. If it's
sadly,
perfect
no.
conditions, I see him as a fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth. Garrett Marchbanks, I don't see him be on the podium either without a mutter. Jordan Smith and Levi Kitson, yeah, they're going to be on the podium every weekend. But who do you see also, you know, doing as well as they did because of a fluke?
Well, talked about it. Carson Mumford, Phil Nicoletti.
Yep.
Marchbanks, I disagree. I feel like he is due for another third place podium on a good day, but of course it's just going to come down to his start, or his heat race, his gate position, his start, and his confidence going into following. Just hoping that he's following some of the fast guys, and hopefully he doesn't get defeated. I think Garrett will get another one. Obviously, R.J. Hampshire, Fluke, Mitchell Owenberg, even, and Julian Beaumer, 9th, 10th, 11th. They're going to be bumped to like the top five or top eight for sure. If it wasn't for the mutter. So um, hopefully I'm okay with another one this year, but I don't think there's going to be another one. If there is, it'll be just one. Um, but other than that, I love to mutter. It was beginning of the season. It mixed things up. And let's move on to the 450s here. So we got Chase Sexton winning, Tomac in second, Roxon for third, Shane McElrath for fourth, and Aaron Plessinger for fifth. I will stop there because we could obviously get on that huge list. Things I want to note: Vince Freeze did not make the main, still has 0 points if I'm not mistaken on the point standings, which is a disappointment. Freddie Noren is one thing I want to point out. I'm actually surprised he's made two mains already, let alone scoring points. So good for him. Um, all right, let's get into it. What's a good take for the championship here and the points? What are you thinking?
I feel like there's so much in my mind right now to talk about the 450s. However, I'm going to start off on the subject of the top five because I do want to ask you some things about I see down in the list. Like, why are you that far down? Once again, it's a
That's
mutter.
fine. We'll just start with a topic and we'll
I
go from there.
thought, yeah, oh yeah, for sure. Um, I was cheering for. I thought Aaron Plester was going to win the race because of the mudding, the GNCCs. Everyone talks about
Everyone says
Aaron.
it
He does
all the
good in the rough
time.
stuff. Literally all the
All the
time.
time. Still
Ethan,
hasn't done it.
yeah, and he hasn't. It's so funny because I almost put him in my Rocky Mountain League to win, and I didn't. You know why? Because he hasn't won one yet.
Yep.
So we
That's
always
what
talk
I
about
told
put.
that to my dad too. Same
Yeah,
thing. Like everyone in my group, I'm like, here, I'm gonna make sure I tell myself this. Yeah, I think I had him in like fifth right now. Never mind.
yeah. I have to pull up where I had him, but I had him originally winning, and then I changed it because he did really good last weekend. He got fourth. So I had him winning, and I changed it because he's never won a race. I mean,
Yeah,
still the fact that he got fifth place in the 450 main, he's the fifth best rider in the world right now.
I know, but
I think he did awesome.
at the end of the day,
But yeah,
mutters is so
just
random, especially a mutter like that. We've already said it. It came down to the start. He didn't get it. So and
it
he
did.
never gets them. So if he ain't gonna get the
No,
whole
he
shot in a
doesn't.
mutter, he ain't gonna win. So
Oh, and the one time he gets a whole shot, he almost won the race last year when he was
yeah,
winning the entire thing until the last lap. So he just needs a whole shot. So today I knew it was based on whole shot. When they started off, the first thing I looked was where's Jet? Where's Jet? Because if he gets a whole shot, I'm tucking this TV out the window. And he didn't get a whole shot. We see Chase Sexton, and I think Eli Tomac was right there. Ken Roxton talked about how he was right next to Chase, and he got blacked out. His goggles completely got covered, and he couldn't find his tear off. So he said he was riding blind for a little bit, and then it got knocked him back. I'm proud of Chase, man. Even with the whole shot, you still have to last that whole race. You know,
yeah,
he killed it. I mean, the whole race. Like, and granted, Eli ended up only 7 seconds behind him. For a mutter, that's nothing. I mean, that's right there. If Chase barely struggles and has to tip over and turn it to pick his bike up, Eli's there. So I think Chase is definitely the highlight of the night because to win the mutter, you still have to perform
hmm
tremendously. So I'm pumped for Chase. I think he killed it. What are you thinking?
Well, while we'll stay on the topic of Chase here, just to keep it going here, the biggest thing I noticed, I mean, yeah, we just talked about the start, but when I actually watched the start, I mean, he even said he got lucky, so it was kind of cool that he owned up to it, that, hey, it was all
Yeah.
luck. But, dude, I was like jaw drop just watching his start. I was like, this guy's got a whole front wheel like on everybody. Almost ate it in the first turn, but I was like, that was I mean, he was, he does his normal, getting himself all excited, but I just could
Oh
tell,
yeah.
like, he does that normally, but sometimes there's just a little something special in that one. I'm like, he's ready to go, and the second he saw a hair twitch, man, he went for it, and that was awesome. So, um, now I'm gonna take a gamble here, Jonathan. I'm gonna let you look at the 450. I'll make it easy. Look at the top five, and we'll say it on three. Who's your biggest, happiest accomplishment for the night? One,
I
two,
wonder.
three. Shane McElrath.
Shane McElrath.
Yeah, there we go. I took the gamble. Obviously, that's the biggest excitement. That he'll never get another top five again. Sorry, unless there's another mutter. Apparently. Uh, what do you think? How are you feeling for Shane?
Dude, I'm so proud of him. First of all, he's a man of God. I was telling my wife, I was
Yep.
like, he's like a legit outspoken Christian. All these guys thank God on the podium, which is great. I love that. But he shows it, he lives it. Um, so I was just really proud of him. He definitely deserves it. And I mean, he won a championship 2 years ago, 3 years ago. Or no, he didn't win it, did he? He was
I was
fighting
thinking
for
the
it
same thing. I'm
because
trying to remember. He may
the
have.
year we went to the Tampa Supercross, he was like legit that year. I remember because he was on
Star.
Monster Star. Yeah. I think he did get the championship because that's why he can't go back to 250s because he was in the same boat as Joey. So he did get the championship.
Yeah, I have no idea how these rules
But yeah,
work.
so
Still don't.
he's legit. However, these 450 guys, they're another level. So like you can't just come in and expect to be able to get on podiums at 450. But when I saw him in third, I was literally just
Cheering. Yeah.
cheering crazy for him. When Ken got him, I put him off my radar. I don't know about you, Ethan, but when Ken got in third, I was like, okay, Shane's now he's gonna fall back to 20th.
Just kept
And
on
then all of a sudden
trucking.
at the end of the race, yeah,
Kept on
at the
chugging
end of the race, I was
along.
like, he's still in fourth. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
So that was awesome. I know, even looking at the
And good
lap
for
times, like
Suzuki.
his best lap time is the slowest out of the top five. But again, didn't matter. He just
Yeah, by a
didn't
good
matter.
amount. We got 125, 126, 125, 128, and he's with the 129. But you're right, you just poked that.
Yeah. Well, all right. Biggest disappointment. Um, I don't know. I mean, I might be biased because he's on my little fantasy team, but it's gonna be Jason Anderson. Yeah, he's not known for being in the mud, but the way I seen him ride in his body language, he wasn't embracing the mud. I think I saw him go off the track, and he just looked like he just did not care. I'm like, it is too early in the season for you to go from second place to looking like you don't want to be there. I could be wrong. He'll tell me I'm wrong if he ever listens to this, But I don't know. He just doesn't seem mentally strong because when I watch Cooper Webb struggle, he looks like he is fighting for every point that he is going for, and Jason looks like he's like, I just want to get out of here. I'm not going to this championship. I'll try and win next week for a big bonus. I don't know. Could be wrong, but Jason Anderson, biggest disappointment. What about you?
Yeah, I mean, I could see where you feel like with that, especially how good he did last weekend. I feel like it's still that he was a 12th with it being a mutter with other names like Cooper, Christian, and Hunter and Jet right around him. I mean, Jet got ninth and he got 12th. I think he can regain from that and be like, all right, it was a mutter and I struggle. I'm going to come back and still win next weekend. But I do still think it's like, all right, you got second last weekend. You need to be in the top five, you know? Mine is
Yeah,
Malcolm Stewart, man. 2 weekends in a row. He got 11th last weekend or 12th. I have to look again. And then, I mean, I understand he wrecked on the first turn. I mean, why is Jet not wrecking every time? Like, whenever these people are just like, oh, I have bad luck, I crashed, I get hurt. How come these elite guys like Tomac and Jet aren't wrecking every race? They're doing something different. So with Malcolm, like, I was really pumped on him being like even a podium by now. Granted, we're 2 races in, right?
yeah,
So, I mean, we're gonna bite our words. You know, when we're 20 episodes in, we're like, "I remember when we said that." But with Malcolm, I heard so many like rumors of him killing it at the test track and being the fastest rider, and he's my disappointment of the year so far.
yeah. Disappointment of the year. All right, I got you. Yeah, disappointment of the year. I'm definitely gonna have to.
And race,
Yeah, I think disappointment of the. I can't say because he was sick. Justin Barsha is definitely up there as well. He is not doing well this year. Now, I heard he was sick, but he's also won mutters. He was expected to be in the top five. Um, sadly, they say you can't win the championship on the first couple rounds, but you could lose it. And I think guys like we're talking about Justin and Malcolm, they're losing it.
Malcolm.
They lost it. So, but now to defend Malcolm a
Yeah,
little bit though, I still think he's just been out of it way too long. I mean, he's only raced a couple races last year, and then the whole Supercross, the rest of the Supercross season, Motocross season, Super Motocross playoffs, he missed it all. He's just out of race, maybe not race shape, but race mind. He'll get it back. I just hope that his confidence isn't going to be too defeated by the time the end of the season is there, because that's where he's going to have to show strength. Because I don't know when his contract's up, but are you going to re-sign him and or pick him up on a factory team with his results? Nobody is. So
yeah,
that's my biggest thing with him.
and yeah, and Ethan, you brought up a good point because like I can't imagine being a team owner. Like you know, you're gonna have to spend like 200-300 grand on this guy plus everything that comes with it. But for like Malcolm, it's like he's super fast, right? He could win, he could get a podium. But as a team owner, um, look at all these other riders that have,
Coming
like
up,
I'm pulling a blank. Yeah, that have been like they're so fast, but like if you can't put it together, why are you gonna do it?
yeah,
So like I agree with Malcolm. He's got it, and the thing is, like you said, you can't win it in the first one or the second one. But now we have these guys like Jet, Chase, Eli, Aaron. I mean, look, I got to look. He's probably up there in the points, the fourth and fifth. These guys have like they have confidence now. They're
hmm
doing well. But you have someone like Malcolm who has no confidence because 2 races in a row he struggled. So like you have to show something at round three. If you keep on doing this, you're out of it.
yeah. I mean,
And
racers ourselves. Like us being racers, it's like it's honestly. There's some people are better at it than others. Some people it doesn't affect them, but I feel like Malcolm hasn't shown me that he's a mentally strong guy when to battle adversity. Because there's people that are momentum people, and in his history of being a professional rider, he's a momentum-based guy. I talk about Webb being a strong guy. I feel like you can throw bricks at him the whole race, and he'll just accept it. Be like, okay, I guess that's just my luck for today, but I'm gonna embrace it and dodge these bricks and still go get a top 10 or something, And like, I try to brag about it myself that I mentally strong, but last year I finally showed signs of weakness, and I tend to work on it. And I think Malcolm needs to do the same thing. So, um,
that is true with what. Sorry, I'm going to go on with that real
no, yeah,
fast.
go ahead.
Is you do like we. I always talk about Stu Baylor. that he can start the season horrible and then he can
Mhm.
still win, or he can start for a race dead last and then by the end he's up there. For me, I get so frustrated, I give up easy. But like, what's hard is like with Justin Barstow and Malcolm and stuff like that is they don't have the ability that they can go and win out the rest of the races.
Mhm.
But like you do still have to like with like you said Cooper Webb, he could probably get like 10th next week and the week after that, and then he could start winning every race at the end of the year. He's done that. That's how he's got both of his championships.
Mhm.
You know, he gets better at the end of the year. But you're right. I don't see Malcolm and I don't see Justin Barcia consistently doing better. They just, we've seen Malcolm get in fights. We've seen Justin get in fights. And people like that, they let it get to them. You have to just be mindless and just go along with it.
Yeah. No, for sure. I guess just with the two races combined, I don't really want to talk too much about it because I'm sure we're going to want to talk about our top five picks for the pre-show for next weekend. But right now, who is championship contention? Who's exceeding your expectations? Who's in the top five, for example, or top 10 that shouldn't be there that you didn't think? What's your thoughts?
Okay. So with the championship, based on 2 rounds and on people who I think can still win, I have Chase Sexton for sure. He's really impressed me. A third in the first race with a perfect like conditions and everyone being there at the top. Chase, I'm pumped with. He's got
Hmm.
the points lead, so he's definitely up there. Eli Tomac gave me some hope. I still think he could have charged. I thought Eli was going to get Chase, um, but he's back into. I think he can win a race, and I think he's back in the championship. Kenny Roxon, right there. I think he's going to win race this year. I still think he's in the championship. Then we start going to not as many people I'm thinking anymore. I know it sounds weird, but those are the top three. Aaron Plessinger, he's not going to get the championship. I'm sorry. If we can come up with a bet, if he does, then I owe a lot of money or something. And then Jet, obviously, I still think is a main contender. I don't care that he got ninth place.
Oh
It
yeah,
was a mutter. He had a bad start.
he'll be a
He's
top. He'll be a
still my
podium guy all year.
championship.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'll put money right now. I'd put a good amount of money that he will win the championship. Hunter, I think, can still do good. He'll get top fives. I know we disagree with this. I don't think Hunter Lawrence is going to get a podium this year. And then Cooper Webb, I still think he got 11th. He's still on my radar of winning and championship. Jason Anderson is not on my radar of championship, but I do think he could win a race or get a more podiums. What are you thinking?
So I'm gonna just try and give three bullet points. One, I'll go with the championship. I have newfound faith in Chase. I think it's just going to come down to like, okay, I want to mutter now. If he comes out and battles with Jet the next round or two, I think he's going to be a contender for the championship. Versus like, it's going to be close. Where like right now you believe Jet, I still kind of sadly just believe Jet, but I feel like I want to see how Chase takes this. I want to call it a free win, but like a lucky win. Um, Again, not luck, but you get what I mean. Mutter, he won. He got the
No,
points
yeah, yeah.
lead. Like, how are you gonna obtain that? Are you gonna take that free found confidence? Like, cool, I have the lead now. I think it just comes down to like the next few rounds for Chase. Staying up there with Jet. Um, Person I'm exceeded expectations so far this year. Still Dylan Ferrandez. He's really making the non-factory bike look really good. My disappointment so far, probably Ken Roxon. Um, I think he's just getting some bad luck in the main, so we'll see how he can bounce back from that. Hunter Lawrence, I'll just
Even with the third on a podium, you're still disappointed with Kenny.
a little bit.
Well, I guess the first one, a 10 and a third. I gotta see what place he is. Sorry to interrupt you. You didn't do that to me, but yeah,
Oh
go ahead.
no, it's fine. Yeah, it's just so far. I mean, like I said, first round's always a random. Second round, mutter. I feel like we're still going to be changing our minds here. We'll be more set in stone mid-season on who we think is going to do well and things like that. But it obviously makes it clear. Um, and finalize up the 450 class. Hunter Lawrence, just because you said I don't, I said he might get a podium this year. I will change my mind after a couple rounds because back to the mindset and the confidence part. If he starts continuing to be, back 10, he's not going to have confidence the whole year, even if he has the speed to get a podium. So I think he's just got to get a couple top sevens here as soon as possible to start believing that he can get a podium. So with that being said, John, I think we went through both classes. We'll talk about our top five picks closer towards San Diego. And do you have any closing statements?
Yeah, I want to ask you two things. Um, first, I have two questions for you. First one is out of the 450 class, who is on suicide watch? Who is like, oh my goodness, what am I doing with my life?
Explain
Mine's
Suicide
Malcolm. The
Watch.
fact that he is like, they're bummed. They're like, why am I racing Supercross? I was thinking of, you know what I mean? Like they are in the dumps, just
Uh,
bummed. I have two. Christian Craig,
I was just gonna
because
say,
he
if
did
I'm
not
picking
do good
one,
last
Christian
weekend.
Craig. Yeah.
And he did not do this weekend. And he lets see, he's what you talked about earlier. He lets, and I like Christian Craig. Like he's worked hard at what he got, but like he is emotional and he lets it get to him. And then Malcolm, I haven't heard his interviews, but he's two races in and he's not doing good. So those are my two. Do you have anyone else besides those two?
No, I'll just stick with Craig here. I don't know. I hate to say it, but I'm a huge fan of the Gas Husky KTM bikes for myself personally in the woods, but from what I understand, I really feel like, the KTMs, like that those brands seem to struggle. He looked way better on a Yamaha. And that also was motocross. I feel like I want to see him healthy racing motocross this year because he was getting consistent top fives in the 450 class while he was on Yamaha in the outdoor. Um, yeah, if he doesn't figure that, at least the outdoors, yeah, I don't know what he's doing. He'll be gone soon,
Yeah.
sadly. So,
Yeah. Yeah. I think, unfortunately, the Rockstar Spartan team might need to make some changes because I think Malcolm's still going to get some top fives, but I'm sorry, bud. I don't see Christian Craig getting many top tens this year. And then one more thing. I know I said one more thing, but I have two more things actually. I am thought Jorge Prado did a good job. He won the heat. I thought he was going to get a top five, but seventh is still awesome for just coming here for three races, first time doing Supercross, not knowing what he was doing. We talked about last week that he did an interview where he's like, I didn't know when to go. Like with the heat races, with the practices, he didn't even know. He's like, they did a flag. One practice, we're starting. One practice, they're pointing to people. He said, I had no clue what was going on. So the fact that he got seventh, I thought that was probably like one of the highlights of like people that you don't expect to do that,
yeah.
and got a heat win.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yep.
Like I said, Mutter, I felt like, it
Yeah.
was a fair playing ground. Like,
Exactly.
he didn't need no supercross experience to do that. So,
Mm-hmm.
he could have been in anyone else's position. Ninth was just survival. He got ninth. Cool.
So if
I
anything,
don't
it's a
take anything from it.
disappointment.
I don't think it's a
Yeah. If
disappointment, but
anything,
I don't
it's a
think it's
disappointment. You should
impressive.
do better.
I don't think it's a disappointment
Yeah.
or he should do better at all. It is what it
Okay.
is for him.
Last thing before we end this thing, I want to ask you because this was such a hot topic last week and we didn't bring it up. What do you think about Craig's one-piece suit at the first at Anaheim?
Hey man,
Everyone
to
hates it.
to be honest, everybody is a critic when it comes to uh what's the word? Like
Change.
change or anything new, and that's with anything. And then dude, they'll end up loving it 5 years down the
Yeah.
road. Personally, I don't like it, but I at least will try and bring facts to it. uh, let's be honest,
Yeah.
we're racers. What's the first thing you want to do when you're on the line before the gate drops, John? Please answer.
Just check your belt, tuck in.
No, pee. I gotta pee before.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Gotta go
So
to the
there's a
bathroom,
lot of.
man. I don't know. I
This
don't
is
even
the
know where the
first
zipper
thing
is.
they've
Do you know where
ever
the
done
zipper
it.
is? Do you know how do you put it on?
I don't think there is one, but it's the first one that's ever made. I think they could make one with a zipper. My thing is everyone is hating on it like crazy, and that's what a lot of people are saying. Is like, how do you take a poop? How do you have to pee? And that's a
Yeah, I don't
huge
know.
thing you have to figure out. But I think it's cool. Like when you're looking, you have to buy a shirt and you have to buy the pants. You have to wash them separately. Obviously, I'm not the size that could use one of those. I would never buy one for myself. But for people that are super in shape and like that, You don't have to worry about like where's my jersey go with my pants. It's all one thing. You're not worrying about your belt, like belt buckle. Look how many times people have to pull off because their pants fell down, or like their jersey came untucked.
I
I
can see
think
that.
there's a market for it.
Maybe not
I
the
just
jersey,
like
but
I'm not
I like
saying
the idea of the pants being pulled up because sometimes I can
yeah,
sometimes have that struggle. So
yeah. Or have you ever had mud go down the back of your pants when your jersey's undone? Or I mean, I have. And then
yeah, it
you get
happens. You're right.
monkey butt. Yeah, it does. Not all the time. So like
Well,
for me,
you at
I
least
don't think
opened
it's
my
like
eyes to some positives from it because so far I haven't found any, but that's so far a couple. So good, continue.
yeah. Oh, that's the like for me. I'm not like oh yeah they need to start making them. I buy them. I wouldn't because I'm not in the shape for it. However, I see a market in it, and I what I don't understand is why everyone's hating on it that much. Like people hated it. I
Yeah,
think there's positives to it. Like I just don't understand how there's not more people out there. Like that's awesome. Like if I was Christian Craig size, I would definitely probably I would buy a pair. Like unless they're super expensive.
they probably are. It's Fox gear. To
But
be honest, I like
yeah.
Fox. I love the logo. It's probably one of the coolest, other than Alpine Star. But end of the day, they're. I could be wrong, but they're probably the most expensive gear on the market.
Oh
So
yeah.
it's just if you're gonna uh, get or give leeway towards these blue collar workers that ride dirt bikes, got to make it cheaper. So
Yeah. Well, that's everything for me, Ethan. I know we kind of hit just the main subjects tonight. This one I feel like is just gonna be like a little bit short of our review. Our review ones will probably be anywhere from 30 minutes to an hour, hour and 10. But not to bore everybody, we'll just kind of stick on this one for today. But as the season goes on, there's gonna be a lot more things to talk about for sure. But that's everything. There's other things I could think about right now that I could bring up with you, but I think we'll just
I think we
stick it
covered
to
enough.
the main points for tonight.
Yep.
Yep. Agreed.
So other than that, everyone, thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you hopefully earlier before round 3 next week. So we'll catch you guys later.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for listening. Thanks, Ethan, for doing this with me. Enjoy it.